All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Working Class Fishing Podcast. Down below me is John Morris. To your left or right, it's Mr. Sean from under the Instagram handle TackleboxBreakdown. We're going to be talking to him today about all of his cool bass fishing adventures and his other adventures that he does, and a little bit about him and everything else. So we're going to get that going. Wanted to say thank you to everybody to start out, though. Last couple episodes, you guys have been blowing it up for us. So we really appreciate all the comments. We appreciate all the likes. We appreciate all the views. You guys are actually starting to watch a little bit more. We were just talking about this. So you guys are actually watching a little more. So you guys are actually getting a little bit more into what we're talking about. So we really appreciate that, though, in all honesty. We appreciate all of our friends pushing and promoting and doing everything else for us. So we couldn't do this without you. We've been a little bit tied up, with life stuff. So we're not able to go on Instagram and feed the machine, so to speak. But we'll try to throw some stuff out there for you guys to look at every once in a while. But nonetheless, today we have Sean, Tacklebox Breakdown from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. This guy is a bass slayer, man. We always see all of his bass pictures. He's always liking all of our pictures. We talk. I know him and John talk a lot, but he's one of our best followers. We love seeing his stuff. We love talking to him and everything else. So, Sean, welcome to the show. We're really happy to have you here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, yeah, first off, man, thanks a lot for having me. I'm super grateful for the invite. Been talking to John. I don't know. I think I talked to him first. And oh gosh, sorry. Look at that. We were just talking about that, Jazz. There we go.
There you go.
Was I frozen some weird position?
No, not at all. It was flowing. It was flowing. You're good.
So yeah, started talking to John somewhere around, I don't know, March or something of this year, maybe April or something like that, and became buds with this guy. Never met him in person, but talked back and forth on Instagram pretty often. And he's a really good dude, and it's been great knowing him. So
I appreciate that.
That's kind of, that's how I got to, got to know you guys or start following your whole deal. But my name's Sean, and I grew up in Corpus Christi on the beach, Padre Island area, and fished down there, and then moved all over the place. And now we live in Dallas and try to get on and fish every day. I try to fish, 3-4 times a week at least, is the plan. Anytime I don't have all the buddies I used to have and all the crazy yikes that used to be. And I try to leave it, family and fishing now, and just focus on that. Focus on work, family, fishing, and just, finish the rest of this life in that form, I suppose,
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So yeah, and then the Instagram page, Tacklebox Breakdown, that was started. I really just started that to document my coming from salt back to bass after leaving, freshwater fishing when I was a kid. Well, not even a kid, 18 or whatever, and kind of leaving that and, doing other things in life. But so I wanted to document, like, okay, because everybody's like, it's just like, fishing for red and spec trout. They're predatory, opportunistic feeders are going to hit it, put it in their face fast, reaction strike, that kind of jazz. So, and I started getting back on, fishing with my grandmother when I was a kid. It was like a super small tackle box with some worm hooks, some lead weights, and some like spinner baits. And that was her whole tackle box. And then it was night crawlers and chicken livers, and what John calls indicators, which are corks, right? So that was kind of all we fished with, dude. And we would get on all kinds of fish as a kid. And she was my grandmother, my dad's mom. She was great. She has this huge, this 8-pound. My dad has it now in the garage of his house. And this mounted 8-pound, beautiful largemouth from Alabama. And it might be a spot because of that area. Who knows? I didn't really pay attention. It's all orange and stuff now because of the, how they preserved them back then, like in the 70s with the lacquer or whatever. It's all turned like tarnished or whatever. Which that was a good bloodline that should have went back in the water. No,
Yeah.
but right at that size, you shouldn't. I mean, but that also that's a whole different time. Now we can have like what are they called, the replica mounts or whatever. But yeah, so what the Instagram thing was pretty much just rambling. The Instagram thing was pretty much just to document bass fishing for myself and getting back into that. And then you know, I saw, you know, a few people kind of enjoyed it, and I was like, okay, cool, maybe I'll turn it up and dive deeper, you know, and really geek out on the tackle and everything. And that's exactly what I did. You know, every waking moment, this podcast and YouTube, and between tactical bassing and everything they've ever done, and you know, all of that kind of stuff. And I kind of hear that's kind of like the norm. And you know, like I said, I don't have a bunch of friends up here. I've got, you know, a few friends from work or whatever, but we don't fish together. They don't even go outside. You know what I'm saying? They're kind of the what's Netflix kind of guys. So you know, they're just in the house watching TV kind of fellers. But so I don't really have a whole bunch of that. But yeah, man, that's kind of where that started, was just to document, you know, the learning curve.
So when you get started with your grandparents or your grandmother, and then you're like, hey man, I'm gonna make this Instagram and start cataloging this stuff for myself, and now you're literally out there fishing every day. Like you are on
As much
them,
as I
dude.
can.
You are on them. My favorite hashtag that you have on Instagram is lunch break.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I'll trade McDonald's for that any day. Right. So I'll just take a little sandwich or something with me and then find some bodies of water. And John knows in North Texas, there is water everywhere. Especially on like the Fort Worth side of Dallas. It's like wetlands, like literally like wetlands, just water everywhere, everything from creeks and rivers and ponds and lakes, all of it in between. The Trinity River spreads off so many little things from it. And it's a fun place if you're into that style. And I don't just bass fish. That's just what I target the most, because I think that's the most fun for where I'm at, the most fun fish to target in my area. And learning their different, you know, their different little personalities and quirks and daily changes, literally hourly changes. Shit. So
yeah.
And that makes it fun too. It's an always learning thing. I don't think any angler at any age is just like, yeah, that's a big deal. I don't know where I heard that the other day, was on some podcast, of course. I'm just like beating this stuff in my head all the time. I don't know if that's healthy, dude. Is this healthy?
Oh, it's totally healthy. Just eat it all. You're good.
Right? But it was be a learner and not a knower. Mm-hmm. So once you feel like, okay, I've got this little section dialed in as far as just baits in general, because now, I mean, look at the JDM market for bass fishing. Every day, some crazy new thing comes out, dude. And some of these things are crazy. It's like, who's throwing that? Yeah. But so to be a learner and not a knower. So I don't ever want to be. I don't think anyone could ever be at that point where it's like, I know everything there is about angling, because these fish will make you a liar tomorrow.
Yep.
Everything you think you know about them, yeah, you don't. You know, so and I really that's kind of a little thing with me with the, and I get being confident, and some of these dudes are confident, but there's like this area where like even you, man, can also be, you know, the fish can make you a liar as well. You know, so I love that about it. You know, you never know what the day's going to bring going out there.
Dude, yeah. It's go ahead, Brian.
No, I was just agreeing with him. Yeah. Fish will make you a damn liar. That's for sure.
And a heartbeat. And you know, it's that attraction to that puzzle. I think fishing is an inquisitive sport, to be honest. It's maybe it's not chess, maybe it's not checkers, but it really racks your brain. Yeah. Because it's not the same. Literally, like you said, man, in 10 minutes and 5 minutes in an hour,
The wind
You don't know.
changes, anything, cloud move, anything.
Something. And it'll just throw off the bite. And then it's back to the drawing board, figuring it out. And I think that's what
coming by in his bass boat at like 27 miles an hour, throwing the biggest wake you've ever seen. And you're sitting in this little kayak, like,
Yeah.
That'll throw off the bite and your attitude, I promise.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Dave, just I really appreciated something. I see all your posts, dude. You know that.
I appreciate you.
We're always talking pretty much every day. But something you said the other day really made me, I was like, this is awesome. And you were talking about PFDs.
Yeah.
Dude, especially like you really don't. And kayak guys, like, I don't know if you just like taking risk in your own hands, or people on jet skis, or even the paddle boards. Like, PFDs are a big deal, man. You know, like you said, that guy comes ripping by at 27 miles per hour.
Yeah, he's not fast. He's not hauling ass, but the weight that boat throws because of that speed, you guys know, between plane and whatever the jazz is. So, keep going.
It'll flip you. It'll flip you, dude.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You'll lose everything you got in that yak in your life if you're not careful.
And if you've been doing it for any amount of time, now you've got comfortable. So your phone's out, all your baits are out, you got everything's out. You know, the rods are just laying, they're not tethered anymore.
Yeah.
You know, the rope from your anchors all wrapped up everywhere. So if you do roll, now it's in your feet. There's just things to think about. So
yeah, that's one of the biggest hazards that I see out there, fishing day in, day out, trolling, or, either on a kayak or on a boat or whatever else is, there's a lot of people out there that don't seem to understand the volume of water that their boat moves. Like here, we don't necessarily have bass boats, but we have these wake boats for like towing skiers and wakeboarders and all that. And they're designed to put out a massive amount of wake. And I've watched everything from recreational paddle boarders to guys on Hobies that are out kayak fishing. They might be trolling, or maybe they're just working the edge of a bank. As the river gets shallower, and this, the waves get bigger because it's like, and so you just see this boat disappear in like this trough. It's like watching people offshore in the ocean. It's just like on a bad day, it's like surfboard, brother, like that. And that they're doing this, and they're probably, they probably lost a bag of worms and, some other stuff overboard while they're getting thrashed around. But the PFD thing, that's really important because you just never know. Things can happen so fast. So I agree. That's a good post to put up. It's not,
for sure.
And get one that's comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I don't know, I think it's a cool thing. I see a dude, wearing, I think that's kind of a broken record with people that, and especially if you ever turned over your yak, just getting back on it.
Yeah. It sucks.
That's a pain, man. And practicing it isn't a bad idea, in a controlled by, shallow, not windy day, whatever. But, I think that's a big deal that we overlook, as beginners jumping in, and I've been kayak fishing since 12 years old, 13 years old, cruising up and down the Frio, and all over the place, since a kid. And as a kid, that wasn't, especially visiting Alabama, because that side of the family is way more loose with rules in that area. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. As far as everything. So, it's a big deal once you find out, and especially in current. So, Absolutely. So thanks for noticing that, John. I wasn't to be like that, like I was talking about knowing earlier, you need this and that, but hey, man, that's your life. Your wife wants you to come home, your kids want you to come home, so.
I used to work at that god awful place, and I'd talk to you all the time and I'd complain about it. But there was this one poster that was in the break room that meant something to me. As much as I hated that place, the poster was great. And it said, when you gamble with safety, you gamble with your life.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I hate this place, but that's so good.
For sure. That's that's a real thing.
It's true.
It's not nothing to play with. But,
Yeah.
And that's that's the serious side of it. But we just can't leave it as not a big deal, because it is.
But dude, the bass bite has been strange in Texas.
Weird.
It's been weird. So
crazy. And doing things that people say are not, you shouldn't be doing that right now. And we're catching fish like that. And I think that's the reason. Because it's something they're not seeing in these, ridiculously pressured waters in North Texas. Everybody is an angler up here. So, even, hey, my wife started fishing a year ago, got her a Zebco 33. Now she's throwing a lose caster combo and jigs and stuff. So
nice.
She's a quick study per se. So
to go from a Zebco 33 to a lose casting combo, you'd have to be a pretty quick study.
Yeah, she didn't even want to she doesn't want nothing to do with those spinning rods of mine. None of them.
Really?
So even the pretty ones, man. I'm like, babe, this was pretty, right?
Man, spinner rod's pretty darn versatile, but I guess I guess you can do it all with a bait caster too. So I guess it just looks cool when you're out there on the dock and you just push and you go whap like that, and and it just arc a cast, with a little 6.5 foot rod, like 100 yards, and so I totally get it.
Yeah, fun stuff, and that's we're not. Everybody has to find what their deal is, man, and that's where we're at with the whole kayak deal. So I'm really excited about the pedal kayak when we get that guy, because it's for her, which means on her days off, she'll get to use the pedal kayak, but on my days off, I get to use the pedal kayak. So that's a fun trade, and the paddle kayak is great because you can get such skinny water and way back into areas that no one can get to, especially when it's grown over trees, over the creek, and you can almost touch, your paddle from left to right on the bank, and then it opens up again. Those are fun spots, and then it opens up again.
Well, they're hidden. That's the cool part. They're hidden. It's just kind of like taking an adventure, and you're going to roll around one of those corners and you're just going to see like a monster boil out of the water. And you're like, oh, I'm going for that one.
That's funny. Happened another day. And with the wife there too. And it right against the bank. And I was fan casting that whole area. And then I heard it near the bank. And then I saw the boil and I cast past it real fast, 8-speed real, burned it past it and it hit it. And I was like, well, that's the first time that's happened. So you just like called it like, he's gonna hit that, and then it happens. Is that's fun stuff. So it's just about the fun and the experience, man. And you only got one time to live this life. Ring it out.
So I had a question for you. You said that you started out as a kid fishing saltwater and then you went to freshwater. Have you been basically since you were a kid, just continuously fishing through? You had any breaks in between, anything like that?
Yeah. Was playing in a band for a while and stopped fishing during that time of life, had my kiddos, and fishing was just kind of this, every 3 months we'll run out to Packery Channel and get some spec trout to put on, to fry up and make some hush puppies and stuff. So it was just kind of this, go get your limit of spec trout. And that was, every 3 or 4 months as a recreation deal during that time. Even if that, because we were driving around everywhere trying to make this band deal happen, which didn't work out. But it was fun. And that was kind of the break time from fishing. But yeah, for the most part, every, any chance we get, because that's kind of and if you're an outdoorsman, that's kind of like the point behind it. If you're an outdoorsman, dude, and your family is as well, just going on those trips, when you're an outdoorsman like that, you're going on these trips to amazing places, and you're gonna fish while you're there, right? So, oh no.
Yeah, just go ahead and restart your video really quick.
Sorry, guys.
You're good.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, so you're going to these outdoors, all these amazing places to go camping or whatever, and so fishing is just kind of like this byproduct that comes with all of those, those adventures. So, yeah.
So, well, yeah, and that's what I was curious about, because when you live close to salt water, obviously the best place to go fish is the salt water. You got big, mean, aggressive fish in the salt water. It doesn't matter where you're at. And they're pretty easy to catch because they're indiscriminate biters. So when you hear somebody say, I fished salt water and then I went back to freshwater, it's kind of, freshwater's weird because it's like, the fish aren't as big. They don't fight as hard as the offshore fish, or even the ones that are like in bays or lagoons or anything.
Right. And the ocean is the ocean is this place of viciousness and tyranny and just things being attacked and ripped apart daily, right?
Yeah.
A couple of shows back, you guys had on 12 Hike.
Zach.
Oh yeah, Zach. Yeah.
Zach. Okay. And he was talking about nature is metal, or metal outdoors. I can't remember the name of it. Well, I instantly looked it up and followed him on Instagram, of course. And that's what it is, and that's kind of how the ocean is. It's super brutal, and it's always go 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 go. There's no stopping. Once it turns on in that area, shrimp start popping, whatever's going down, it's on, right?
Yeah.
Where this type of fishing, I mean, other than maybe bluegill, because they'll just nail anything, but this type of fishing, I don't want to call these fish smart per se, but they will come and inspect your jig. If you've watched a bed fish, if you fished on beds and watched these fish this spring, sorry, left field right here. This spring, there's 2 fish on bed. I'm casting out there. They're both inspecting it. The male pushes the bigger fish, the female, away from the bed. Go, go, go. Pushes her away. And then picks up my bait, set the hook. So they're not, that's not happening in the ocean.
No,
it's just fast paced all the time. So that's what you're talking about. Those fish are not going to slow down to look out for each other.
No.
Like bass, it was really weird. I got to watch like a romance novel right there.
Yeah.
Unfold. So.
Yeah. If you get it like on an incoming tide, I don't know how it is in the Gulf of Mexico, but here on an incoming tide, it turns into an absolute bloodbath with like, rock bottom fish and things like that. You'll throw like a 6-inch like monkey milk grub out there, like with a curly tail on it. You bomb it out in a jetty and it just gets destroyed. And you reel that fish in and bang, another one, bang. And pretty soon you've got like 40 or 50 fish, and they're just toothy, and their eyes are bugged out because you hauled them off the bottom too fast. Their bladders out. But they're so insane. The ocean fish, surf perch, lingcod. I've caught other fish and had lingcod grab them as I'm reeling them up. It's like, what is going on out here? Tuna, tuna's one that's like insane. So halibut too, so, but yeah, that offshore thing though, I find that intriguing with you because do you often go back and fish saltwater now, or do you stay close to home and just fish the fresh?
Oh yeah, with my boys and my wife, we go to Packery Channel in Port Aransas area, Padre Island area, and we were down there about 2 or 3 months ago, and the boys are 14 and 15 now, so they just get out their spinning gear and go take care of it. So
yeah,
and that's fun, man, to watch them just get out there and get on some small, little 12-inch dinker speck trout, but they're fun little, and they're toothy as hell too.
Yeah,
fun little fish to catch, and the boys love it. So as much as we can, work 60 hours a week, and the family and the deal. And now we're about to move, so there's another adventure. I'm packing up every single load. Oh my God, don't you love that, moving?
Oh man.
So yeah.
Nope.
So it's time for one more of those adventures.
Yeah, moving's not fun. I feel your pain, dude.
Oh man. But yeah, then we'll still get on some fish.
Nice.
We'll still go try to find some fish, so
Awesome.
Yeah, that's the reset, man. That is the reset, and you got to have it. Everybody has their little thing, and that's the reset for us. It's fishing, and you guys too, and all the fish family, man. And that's a big deal. All of you guys on Instagram, that John, and Brian, and everybody that has ever showed us love, man, or showed me love, that is awesome. I greatly appreciate it. That's huge to me, that people would take a few seconds out of their life to just read this BS this dude's writing down. Look at this picture he took of a fish, right? Okay, you caught a fish, right? But they appreciate it because they know what went in it behind it, right? So when I see your pictures, I know there was work that went in. There was footsteps and stuff that went in behind catching that. That wasn't just, you cast one time and that fish was on. So, every once in a while that happens.
Every fish takes effort. And just like you said, every fish takes effort. All the fish that you catch, it took effort. It took effort for you to get to the bank. It took effort for you to go to the tackle shop and get the stuff, the gas in your vehicle, the work that you have to do to be able to put the gas in your vehicle to get down to the bank. The fact that you take your kids out and you bought your kids gear so that they could go fish. Everybody gets enamored with like the image, but they don't understand how much more deeper it goes. It's like the folks on YouTube, they'll see somebody hook something and they're like, oh yeah, man, they caught a bunch of fish. I'm gonna click like, blah, 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 blah. And sometimes that's good enough. It's like, hey, that's cool. You went the extra mile. But then you'll hear people say, oh, it's just a stupid thing. Well, there's a lot of work that goes into that. It's not just like content creation and all that. There's a lot of work. So
for sure.
Anyways, I'll stop cutting John off here because I know John's got something else.
Dude, so what is your go-to bait right now, or your technique? It's not just bait. There's got to be a group of them, because I know the fish has been shit. Let's be honest,
right?
It's been pretty bad.
Even down to like the classic little, damn, I wish I had one right in May. Something like that, but just tiny and white. Just a regular soft plastic swim bait, and half this size. This is just what I had on the desk right here. You know what I mean? So a little 2.5 or whatever white swim bait, 16th ounce jig head, stuff like that is kind of the clutch backup stuff. But I love swim jigs, man. That's my go-to thing, is jigs in general, like pitching, flipping, football, dragging over rocks, whatever. But swimming a jig right now, to be honest, I haven't had a bad month swimming a jig since March. February wasn't hot with swimming a jig, but every month from March till now, I've caught fish on a swim jig every month. So that's been an amazing bait for me this year. So yeah. And I don't even know if it's about so much the bait, because I can take a Texas rig crawl, and swim it past the same area and probably get nailed also. So, on like a 1/8 or 1/4 ounce tungsten pegs, 4/0 EWG with a whatever crawl on it, and I'm sure it'll get nailed too swimming past there. But something about the areas that I've been picking have been like, they've been reaction most of the spots. So.
Do you think you've been picking those spots because you've had such success on swim jigs?
Probably. Yeah. Yeah, probably so. So now I look for rock points, and I look for cuts around drains and stuff like that. So, these little areas that I know the fish that are in those areas kind of like that reaction style bait. So, I'm sure a square bill would work, and a few other things too. But yeah, go ahead, John. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, dude, it's like, as rudimentary as it sounds, like you're talking about like the points and the cutouts around drainage pipes and stuff like that. Spots that look like they ought to hold fish probably have fish in them,
They probably hold some fish, bud. Might have a fish too if it looks a little fishy. It's probably fishy.
I probably go fishy.
Yeah. And what's it gonna hurt to cast past it a few times, 2 or 3? It's not. Come on. So. And even the sludgy stuff, I'll throw into the nastiest stuff and come back with a whole salad bowl on it. But, and that's what it takes too. Is just those weird things that people aren't, they feel pressure in a spot, they're going to move. They have to. I think, that's every living creature on this earth. Your your first thing is self-preservation on this planet. That's your first, go-to in life is preserve life, so these fish are no different than that. So they feel pressure, they're going to go someplace it's not pressured, and it's usually those weird, that's just they're always saying in everything you read and you hear is look for the differences, look for the stuff that is anomaly or whatever, stuff that's not normal.
Yeah. Do you ever get where, your guys' bite just turns on red hot and then just shuts off like a light switch?
Yeah. Well, yesterday, what was yesterday? Sunday? Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah.
Happened yesterday. 4 fish in about 20 minutes and shut
Done.
it down. Shut it down.
Noticing
now, she hopped on the kayak and worked for 3 hours to get one more fish. So you want to talk about that? She grounded up. She handled it yesterday to get that fish, because she was like, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna work for it and get it. And see, that was the thing. And I don't know who said it. I don't know if it was one of those, one of those pro fishermen, pro anglers on one of the tours, the money paid tour. But they had said the reason I catch so many fish is because I cast a shit ton of times. I'm always casting. So if your bait's not in the water, you can't catch fish. If the fish aren't there, you can't catch fish. And I know who said that. Ott Defoe said that. He said, the fish are where you find them. Now that sounds like so, I don't know, so crayon and toned down, the fish are where you find them, right? But no, that's a real deal. You got to look and find them, brother. You got to go cast.
Yeah.
So,
well,
that's the thing. And to let the fish teach you, be learning, let the fish tell you what they want. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Brian. I'm sorry.
No. I was just going to say, it's
John's got me nerding out.
Well, no, we can nerd out here on bass, because you guys have the best bass fishing state on planet Earth, or the best bass.
Arguably one of the 3 or 4, sure.
Yeah. So you guys have excellent bass fishing. I was telling you before we started this, up here in the Pacific Northwest, there's a few of us that love bass fishing, and I think that there's more people because they're moving from like Texas and the Midwest and everything else. But most of like the guys that have been up here for ever, like myself and all that, excluding myself, they consider the bass to be trash fish. Okay. So there's not a lot of emphasis on like when the bass want to bite or when they start biting. There might be a few guys out there that really nerd out on it, but no more than a month ago, you could throw out a whopper plopper and you could drill smallies. Now, smallies aren't known for hitting top water like, prolifically. They're not like a largemouth, but you can count on them to either hit like a rebel popper or a whopper plopper, anything like that. You just throw it out into a gravel flat in a river and boom, they're just blowing out of the water. And then one day it was like hell froze over and they shut down. So then you throw a jig out there. Well, you get maybe 1 or 2 on a jig, and then that goes away. Then you throw a worm out there. You might get 1 or 2 on a worm. Then you start trolling salmon gear, and guess what? You get annihilated on basically a round bill crankbait looking plug for a salmon.
Right.
And you have them side hooking themselves. I mean, they're just doing stupid stuff. They're coming up trying to grab this thing, getting trolled 3 miles an hour on a 9-foot heavy action rod. And all your rod does. Yeah. Well, you could have a 3-pound bass on, and all your rod's doing is this, and you're like, why is it running funny? Am I hitting bottom? You reel it up and here's like this beast of a smallmouth on there. And you're like, you just kind of string it out of the water. You're like, well, I wasn't expecting that, and they're and the colors they're hitting is like Pepto-Bismol pink or like bright chrome with orange tiger stripe. I mean, just the most bizarre stuff.
Right. And that's another awesome point, the bizarre stuff. And some of the guys that I really enjoy, talking with on Instagram, like Jay at Catching Donks, John, Tien, Tennessee Yak Tackle. Vern. Dude's cool. And just watching, and just learning off of each other, man. Just seeing what they're using and then studying that, and that helps each other, and we're building off of each other. And even if I have seen it before, like you were saying with this Pepto-Bismol pink stuff, there's a guy in the Dallas area named John Shin, and he he catches a lot of huge bass, and he's usually throwing some crazy stuff like that. Pepto-Bismol pink and off the wall green and all this crazy stuff that I wouldn't even think about purchasing. Right.
Yeah.
So I've been beating my head, green pumpkin, black and blue, red, white, whatever, right? These few handful of go-to colors. And but yeah, that's how you do it, is switching it up. And my wife does that too. Her thing is cute jigs catch fish. So she'll grab little stuff like these little crappie killers.
That's a hot color.
Hey, she doesn't know that this is a crappie bait, brother. She knows it's cute.
Yeah.
And it'll catch fish. So yeah, and that's what it takes. So yeah, that's fun.
That's a fantastic color. I love that color for
That's
just about everything. Yeah.
Awesome.
Pink and
Well,
chartreuse.
hey,
Yeah.
right on.
Yeah.
Dude, so with we've got so many species here in Texas.
Yeah.
What brings you back to bass, dude? What is that fascination with bass that just keeps you on the river?
The spinner bait when I was a little kid with my grandmother, and taking those trips and walking across big, huge drainage pipes that go across rivers and creeks to get to the good spots and baby don't fall in. Those memories kind of help take me back, because who doesn't miss those times?
Yeah.
Of not worrying about light switches and life, right? And having to worry about all of the deal, all the stuff in day-to-day living. And you just wake up and today we're going fishing. That's the most exciting shit on earth. So, and that's how, getting back to that kind of childhood feeling, that's awesome. To answer your question, and it's the spinner baits, man. That first bass that I caught on the spinner bait, 10 years old or whatever, that was an awesome, because I'm just cruising this thing. I'm like, there's nothing's ever going to get this deal. And I've been watching Bill Dance throw it this way, and I've been watching Jimmy Houston throw it this way, and I've been watching Nolan Martin throw it this way, right?
Yep.
So that was all of the content creators of fishing at the time in the 90s, early 90s. So
don't forget in Fisherman, Al Lindener. Remember him?
Lindener.
Yeah.
He was the musky guy, yeah.
Well, he also did. So back in the early 80s, he did a film.
It was okay. No, maybe not.
But he also did the In Fisherman. That was a show that was on after, I think, Bill Dance or Roland Martin, one of the two.
Then,
but he did a video. Yeah. It was funny. He did a video with Roland Martin back in like 1983, and they had these big gaudy like Mitchell 300 spin reels, and when they'd flip the bail, it'd go clock like that, and it's like and they would have to like back reel to fight the fish, dude. It was so cool. I'll have to send you a link. It's on YouTube. I watched Roland Martin and waders wading through the swamp throwing spinner baits. I was yeah, those are legends. So yeah, John, that's kind of what brought me back to bass fishing, was that excitement of just be on the creek and wherever you're at, trying to outsmart these fish.
Yeah, we don't give we don't want to call them smart, because I think we'd like to think we're the more intelligent being, but man, I can feel pretty dumb out there on the water sometimes.
Yeah, I've watched during spawn, I've watched these fish look at my bait. I mean, nose down completely, smell, taste it a little on the trailer, and then look at me like, buddy, are you joking? So, you know what I mean? You can stay there for 2 hours. I'm not hitting that. So, so are they? I don't know. I mean, they're not going to do math, but they know what the hell real and fake is.
Yeah.
So,
oh, it's just amazing. You can have a full school of fish, throw a bait into the middle of them, or a pod or whatever you call it. But you throw into a middle of a bunch of fish, and you're like, one's got to take it. Just one of them. One of them. That's it. One of them. And they all just kind of swim around like nothing's there. You do a little wiggle, you whip the end of the rod, you do all this, and they don't want to take it. That's got to be like the crux of the fisherman, is like that constant, like, I know you're there and you're not wanting to play, but that's the allure of it, the puzzle.
And it just, I don't know, and it just freaks me out. You find these bass that have gorged themselves on teenage quotated year bass, you know what I'm saying? As far as their lifespan goes, these, 12, 14-inch fish or whatever. And there's this, 3-4 pound fish that's trying to eat this 12-inch 1 pound fish, and it's dead. So that tells me these things are gluttons and they're super aggressive, and why won't they hit this little tiny crawl? So, you know what I mean? So like you're saying, man, the puzzle is real, brother. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah. And sometimes they just play. Sometimes they just play ball. So that's the fun days for sure.
Yeah, dude. Lately for me, it's been like trying to put a square block in a circle hole. Just like, like why aren't you working?
Not yesterday, it wasn't.
Oh no, not yesterday.
Yeah. Both you guys.
Yeah. Oh, well, John had his tour de force out there on the river, so that was a pretty good day of fly fishing.
Oh, yeah.
I had a guy yelling at me.
The phone situation and everything, man. That was an adventure for you.
I'm not trying to take away from you, but yeah, dude, truck broke down on the side of the road.
Yeah, I got a text at like 4:30 in the morning my time, like, dude, my truck won't start.
No way.
Yeah, truck
I didn't even know it was all that.
Yeah, my truck broke down, and everything was saying alternator, but I just replaced the alternator. I just replaced the battery. Mm-hmm. I take my tire off. I'm jacked up on the side of the road underneath my truck, hoping that it doesn't fall off this little scissor jack. I get it fixed. I get everything back running. It cranks. I head to the river. I get to the river, and I can't find a spot to fish because there's 9 people there.
Oh.
So I walk up on the other side of the bank, dude.
No.
I wade across the river, walk in the woods, about eat it in some gopher holes, get down off the bank on the other side, and I have like no room to cast. So I'm casting, and this dude starts hollering at me, like physically angry, yelling at me. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, why are you such an asshole? And anyway, dude, I move up river. I catch a few fish. As soon as they leave, 3 people stand in the middle of the river, by the way, which I don't know. That's like where the fish move, and you're
kind of shouldn't be where they hang out.
Exactly, dude. Yeah. And he was yelling at me, he was telling me I was spooking the fish.
Yeah, that's you're doing it, man. That's all you, John.
Yeah, you got to witness amateur hour on the stocked river.
Man, I got to commend you, brother, because of the truck broke down, the damn gopher hose, the frustration, and you're still out there ready to cast. That's awesome. And you didn't take that into your own hands with that dude yelling at you like that. I'm sure,
Dude, but the cherry on top, though. The cherry on top. So
I know what's coming.
I throw up into these under this tree, and I hang one of the submerged limbs, break my line off, right? So I'm over here retying all my stuff. I get it all retied. I throw it back out there. Boom. I hit this huge bluegill. I get it in. I'm like, yes, finally. Skunk's out the boat. And I was like, I need to take a picture. It's for the gram, right? I open the pocket on my waders, dude. It's waterproof, right? I reach in that son of a bitch, dude, and it's full of water. That's where my phone was.
No, so just soaking, just marinating.
Just soaking in swamp juice, bro, right there in my waders.
That's horrible.
But I caught a mess of trout, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm still awesome. Here talking to some dudes online about fishing, so it ain't all bad.
No, man. That's awesome that you have that attitude about it too. Poof, what a morning.
Yeah, you gotta just get back out there and grind it out. But
yeah.
So as far as like your future fishing plans here, Sean, I mean, we talk to people about like their social media presence and everything else. What you got any like big trips planned coming up down the road here? Any like big like adventures to fish, or are you just gonna stick around home and beat them up?
Oh no, well that's definitely the plan, the latter part there. And the first part, we're always taking trips I think it was last month. It was Louisiana. No, last month it was Louisiana, and the month before, I think it was the month before, was Arkansas, and
Nice.
then a few weeks ago we were in Padre Island. So every time we can, life is real, and finances are finances, and you got to put things in order, right? Of course, but yeah, we try to travel and have as much fun as we can, and that's kind of the plan with the deal, And if people want to jump on and we grow together and fish family and look out for each other and stuff, that's awesome. Let's do that. Let's learn off of each other and build together. And I think that's kind of a thing that's dying just in general, And in the fishing community, you can find some of the greatest people. You can find some of the most douchebag people as well, that you don't want to be around. You don't want to affiliate with. You don't, I know you didn't just leave your empty carton of worms right there, bro. Stuff like that. And that's just the small. That's the small. That's not the, the business side of it too. Which, I've spoken to some people, just tiny little stuff. And it's so greedy, dude. It's a greedy thing. Yeah. And if you don't purchase this amount, we're not going to back you. And all of these crazy things. It's insane. So I want to, if there's any companies that want to grow, and that's cool, but I'm not pushing anything and I'm not forcing anything. And that's what, me and my wife had discussed. I'm not trying to make anything happen. I've done that my whole life with business, with the band, with a whole bunch of other things. I've just, it's going to be this way and that's what it is. And I want to allow this adventure to be that, an adventure. I don't want it to be this, this crazy scheduled, I have to do this and I have to do that, because now you're losing the passion behind it. You're losing the love, and your family's not having fun anymore because you're trying to do this and that. And that's not what it's about to us, to me. So now you have that whole professional, these guys out here trying to, hit 10 trillion followers, and that's cool. And they're trying to make money off of that stuff. And if they do, rounds of applause, that's awesome. But I don't think that should be our focus at all in the deal. Yeah.
No, dude, that's so well said. Even myself, I mean, my Instagram is a company, right?
Right.
It's
Oh no, I'm gonna have stuff also. So we're gonna be selling things also, but that's not the focus here. We haven't been doing that for a year. It's been the passion. So
yeah,
but yeah, go ahead, John. Your Instagram page is baits.
It is baits, but it's I looked at my feed the other day, and I'm sorry, I feel like I'm talking about myself, dude, but I'm looking at my feed and I'm scrolling down, and I was like, I haven't posted bait pictures in 2 weeks.
Right. It's not about
it's even though I run a bait company, it's not about the bait company anymore. It's about,
and it's a rare thing that you see it on your story sometimes where you're in the garage. I got them while I got them, buddy. So yeah, get them while they're hot. They're gone. That's it. So that's awesome. Yeah. Why not? Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and I think, for like myself, I just enjoy seeing everybody else's pictures, just of people going out. I tend to have this thought sometimes that the world's kind of losing itself, and maybe I'm not the only one out there, but it seems to me that the world is losing itself, and to see people like yourself going out and enjoying, the world fishing, that makes me happy. Seeing people go out and hunt, that makes me happy. Seeing people go out and do these long hikes, that makes me happy. Or take photography, photographs of these cool places or wildlife or whatever else. And right. So I enjoy seeing that. By no means do I try to live vicariously through those people, but sure. I know some people are seeking popularity. I know some people are seeking, right. The big commercial endorsements, but it seems to me like everybody else just wants a few friends to be able to hang out and share with, and that's what I think we have with our
off of learn.
Yeah, I think that's what we have with our community on Instagram, is we just have a group of friends that, and it's a big group of friends. That's the thing. It's not like you're going to get together with one or two, go down and have a beer at the bar with them, or, go eat, a pile of wings or whatever. But, we get together and it's like, hey, Sean got this one, or, Tennessee Yak and Tackle, he got this one, or the Real Fisherwoman, she went up, slayed some walleye, or, you know, like Brandon, you know, he's always catching something and putting it up and doing all that, or Nick, you know, pitching out Tenkara, you know, doing all that. So we got like all these guys, you know, or then you got like the aw shit moments from our boy Jason, you know, like he had another one, you know, and he's got the cheap beer and, you know, all this other stuff, and he's burning off braid like crazy and all that, you know, all those guys, you know, and we have this really cool little community group, and what's cool is that we've had all of you guys on the podcast, and so we're able to meet you guys, but everybody else is able to get a different perspective that you don't get in a few characters in a picture. So but it's cool that you guys are willing to share that too. And I think that fishing has opened that up for all of us.
Sure. Yeah, man. Absolutely. I would have never, you know, that's the thing. We wouldn't meet so many people if it wasn't for angling. You know, that's another thing. And if you have the introverted personality, you're not very social as it is. You're not just running around shaking people's hands and hugging necks and stuff, unless you're just family. But yeah, so that's been a huge icebreaker for me, just to be able to, you know, open up and be myself around people, and not have to meet their whatever that is, you know. And that's another thing you guys were talking about it a few days ago, with tackle, with gear, with rods and reels, and Brian has listed off $3,000 carried on your body, brother. And that's in fly equipment and, you know, that kind of stuff. And just now there's this expectation that you have to, like, that's another thing, you know, that we got to watch out for, because like you're saying, that's this huge deal, you know, in America, is have the best, shows the best, the most, you know, bougie reel gets the most likes. And that becomes the drive. Is having the bougie reel, you know what I mean? It's these super fancy ass $500 whatever, on a $700 whatever, right? And that's kind of like the benchmark now. If you don't have this, you're not cool. How ridiculous and horrible is that our sport would even ever, as a child, when we were little kids fishing Zebco 33. See, that's what John had asked earlier about what made you go back to bass fishing. Was that there wasn't no judgment, there wasn't no fear, there was nothing but that moment and your Zebco. And, you know, so I just, you know, we're watching the sport change in front of us too now, especially with kayak fishing. It's growing like crazy. And now we're going to, you know, and everybody's been inexperienced or unexperienced angler before, and now we have a bunch of new kayak anglers that are that way also right now, because of, you know, the last year's deal. So, and saying that to say, it's kind of on us, if we've, you know, have any experience, not to critique and beat down and belittle, but just to give them that little, hey man, PFDs are cool, stuff like that, you know, look out for your etiquette, or, you know, don't cast right in front of this dude, kind of deal. Can you not leave your beer cans right where my kids are sitting? Kind of deal. So that's I want us to, you know, just kind of, and that's all I want to, you know, everybody to kind of hold their own in their little thing. And that's back to just full circle to catch and release. I only do catch and release. Look, man, we used to eat catfish and crappie and all of that, you know, and I'm not afraid to, but I know that there's some other dude taking 45 of these out today. So yeah. Well, you're going to say something, John? Or sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
Dude, I was just going to say, like, I would clap right now, but this mic would pick it all up. Dude, like, you nailed it. Like, that's it. That's it, dude. That is it. Like, being a good steward of the sport, not being an asshole, not being a piece of crap, like helping people. And everybody's so wrapped up. I've done it myself. Like, oh man, this photo only got like 67 likes. I was like, oh man, this photo only got 67 likes. What am I doing wrong? I'm not doing a damn thing wrong. It's not about the likes.
Yeah.
It's not about the likes. I don't care about the likes. I don't do hashtags anymore. I don't tag people anymore because it doesn't matter. I'm just posting what I want to post because this is John Morris's page. I'm not, like Brian said, dude, and I love this, and I know you love it too. We're not here to play Vanity Fair with the fish.
No. You don't take a picture of every single fish you catch, buddy. What are you stressing these fish out for?
No, dude. No,
you know that's a beautiful fish. I'm going to share this one. Yeah. But the other 9, no one will ever know of. So, I get you on that, man. And that's awesome what Brian said on that one too.
Well, here's where I come from with it. Now, anybody can do with their fish whatever the hell they want to do with it, right?
Sure, man.
I don't care if you take that son of a bitch, drag it up on the bank and beat its ass to death and bleed it out. Just make sure you take it home and eat it, right?
Eat it. That's right.
Let it go. Now, but I see these, and I see it with steelhead. So that really twists me sideways because we're really struggling with dams and water temperature and everything else with steelhead. I'll use that as my example because it really pisses me off. So I'll say something really wild here. Okay. I'll see some douchebag jackass on a coast river and he's standing there. He's got the stupid flat bill hat on, and nothing against flat bills, by the way, but it's just, they're doing this. They got the glasses on with the flat bill doing all this stuff. Right. And they're holding this steelhead tilted upside down like this. How fucking long did it take you to get that picture with that fish? Because every time I grab something with that much power in it, that son of a bitch wants to jump out of my hand. Right. I don't take pictures of wild fish that I catch. There's a reason why I don't take pictures of wild fish, because they'll beat themselves to death on the rocks while I sit there and screw around with my camera. You caught it, you looked at it, you unhooked it, and you kick it back. It drives me crazy that everybody wants to just, hand fuck these fish to death.
Yeah.
It's just so I can get a picture for my social media page. Don't fuck with the fish. It's that simple. Just unhook it and let it go.
For sure. Yeah, I totally appreciate that, man. And I, me and my wife, we watch some of Shanno Gorman's stuff on Instagram. I don't know if you guys heard of Shanno Gorman. He's a fisheries biologist. And I found out about him from Andrew Hayes's podcast. Mm-hmm. And being a fisheries biologist, the dude has the knowledge, not some, in that field. So when he talks, I kind of listen a little bit, and he said, you have these fish out of the water, and how long can you hold your breath, right? If you just hold your breath right now comfortably, how long can you hold your breath? I don't know, 30 seconds comfortably without feeling winded after. That's how long that fish should be out of the water, max.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's
any fish.
Correct.
Now, a catfish live out of water for like 12 hours.
Right.
And so will a sturgeon, a bass, they'll live out of water for like 12 hours.
And then walk back with their side fins right back in.
That's
crazy. National Geographic stuff.
Yeah. But you take something like, a trout or a salmon or a steelhead or even a redfish for that matter, or a speckled trout or a gar. I'm sure a gar could live out of water for quite a while, but why test it? If you don't plan on eating that fish, and if you can't keep that fish because of regulations, enjoy the fight, turn it loose. Go for the one that came out of the hatchery that all your money for your tags and your licensing and everything else paid for. Take pictures of those ones. Those ones are put in the river to kill. So kill them.
No, for sure. Yes, sir.
Dude, like I think about that too, man, because like some of these gar I'm catching, they're honest, like trophies. These are old fish, and I'm taking these pictures so I can get measurements and stuff, and it literally stresses me out because there's a whole lot of teeth, and it's not about me getting hurt. It's like, man, I have to get this fly out of this fish's mouth. I have to,
which is a garbage disposal.
Yeah, more or less. Well, yeah, more or less.
Setting all the time.
Yeah,
just teeth everywhere. So
and it's like, man, I've this fish decided to play ball with me, and
you're talking about a gar. I'm sorry, I must have heard wrong.
Yeah, And it's like, I have to get this fish back in the water as fast as I can, but I've got to get this picture for these measurements.
Right.
Dude, and it's stressful, man. Like I haven't been gar fishing in like a while, honestly, because of that.
Wow.
It's like,
Yeah, I
I'm not.
remember we had talked a couple of weeks ago, and you were like right there, brother,
Yeah.
in getting that record. And I remember the amount of stoke in your voice. And we had talked while that was going on, like right after it had happened. Right after that had just happened, you're all, this just happened, yeah, which looked to be record size to me, but that's, not my, I was like, that thing's huge. Yeah.
But
For that species of gar, it's big. That's big.
It's just like any fish, man. I don't know. At times, fishing kind of stresses me out, dude, because I don't want to hurt these fish more than I need to.
I know, and the longer you do this, it's that weird. It's funny you're saying this. The other day, I'm like, man, dude, I wonder, because I had, crank set a hook and pulled a hole,
Yeah,
and
that's
pulled
rough
on
when that happens.
on a 5/0 hook. This small gaff of a stout, heavy gauge wire hook, and medium action rod. And I think it's 15-pound fluoro, but with that medium heavy rod, there's not a whole bunch of parabolic bend to load and all of that. It's barely, it's the first 3 eyes in that fast action, just barely, and then it's backbone of them. So I think that's what it is. I got I don't know, with that rod, maybe not, maybe just sweep set a little lighter, because that happened the other day, and I felt bad about it, dude. This fish got, he got a hill a little bit right here because of a little paper spot. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where I'd set that hook. And I've lost fish before that way too, setting a hook too hard. So, because now you've ripped this, you've sliced a piece in this fish's mouth, and it can easily shake this hook. So, yeah. So totally felt there, brother. The longer we do this, the more in love we become with these aquatic creatures. Yeah. Right.
Dude, so I think something that would give you some peace of mind is buy a hook sharpener if you don't already have one.
Mm-hmm.
No, seriously, sharpen your hooks, dude. And like all my hooks are super, super sharp. And it makes your hook set clean. It makes it very, very clean. And it makes hook removal very, very easy.
And I'm sure it makes hook sets easier also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because of the sheer size of the point, right? Because like on light wire hooks, which I try to use when I'm in the kayak, I try to go to a light wire hook jig, because it's not as thick around of a wire gauge, so it's easier to penetrate the fish. So, and I've been thinking about just going to light wire hooks, period, and just stop using those 5 and 7 on monster jig hooks. So
yeah. Dude, it's sharp hooks are much better if you want to look on like the much better for fishing. Sharp hooks are the way to go, because you got to think, if you ever cut yourself with a dull knife, it sucks. It sucks, but you cut yourself with a sharp knife, and you're like,
that makes sense, man. Absolutely.
You're like, whoa, did I just actually cut myself?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing.
And I'm sure out of the box, they're not even as sharp as, or out of the bag, wherever you're getting them from.
No, they're not.
Sure you can, right on. That's good information. See?
Yeah.
This is what we're talking
about. when you do sharpen them, you just want them to kind of, put them on your fingernail. They should be sticky. Like you get them sharp enough to where it's like sticky, where
the thin wire owner hooks are kind of like that out of the bag. They're super sticky, but
those are good hooks. Like I think that they're pretty sharp.
Yeah, those are some of my favorites.
I tend to use Gamakatsu. They're more prevalent up here, but they come out of the bag sharp when I change out. He's got them. Yeah, the owners.
Oh, there it is. Boom.
Yeah. Yep. Boom.
Are those underspin?
These are the sniper finesse hooks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super sharp hooks, and they come out of the bag really sharp. So that's the nice part of them.
Right. So I'll have to play around with that.
Yeah. And as far as a good hook sharpener goes, one of the work sharpeners is actually really good. they have a little honing stone on them and all that. You could probably get something different, but it's got a little white hone on it, and then it's got like a fine and a medium grit, but you can sharpen your knives on it too, or axe, or
cool.
whatever else you need. So it's got a leather stroke on the back and everything. They're a really good sharpener. So just throwing it out there.
That's I can, because I got a lot of knives, so that's cool too.
Yeah,
right on.
Multifunction.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
good information.
So other than just doing your thing, fishing and everything else, future plans, all that, people are interested in finding out more about you or checking out your pictures. How can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, TackleboxBreakdown on Instagram, and the Adaptive Angler on YouTube, which we have started the page. Have some videos, just like you gentlemen saw. I got off at 6, and we're doing and that's every day. So that's just I'm gonna have to prioritize some time weekly to really focus on that, and make that happen. Even though I'm telling myself I'm not gonna push things, but I'm gonna have to prioritize some time for that and start that deal up. But Adaptive Angler on YouTube, TackleboxBreakdown on Instagram, and we shall see.
Well, I think it's definitely worthwhile for everybody to get out there and check out Sean's YouTube and support him. Like we were talking about earlier in this podcast, it's a really important thing to understand that a lot of time and effort goes into a lot of this stuff. One of the big things is that, we all put in a lot of time. Sean puts in a lot of time, and he puts in a lot of energy into his posts and everything else. And, that mutual respect back and forth, that's a really important thing. So anyways, John, you got anything else for Sean?
Sean, dude, just thanks so much. Honestly, man, like, I know we've been friends for a while, but thanks for coming on, dude. It means a lot to me that my buddies are willing to come on here and just bullshit with us for an hour or so and just talk fishing. And I appreciate that, man.
Absolutely, John. Yeah, I mean, I really respect you guys and appreciate you. Thanks for having me on here, and look forward to talking soon in the future. Let's go fishing, John.
Yeah. All right, dude.
You have to go fishing, brother. Just down the street.
Yeah,
you can take me to some of those spots you go to in Arkansas.
I will.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, Sean, thanks again for coming on, talking to us tonight. We got, it was my fault we were delayed, full disclaimer, because I am going ballistic salmon fishing. So I can't well, I can't get myself off the river when I start seeing chrome flashes go by and stuff. It's like, oh, yeah, nothing else matters right now, podcast and, all this other stuff. Yeah. Life, going to the store, eating, bathing, it doesn't matter.
That's all second after that at the moment.
Exactly. So, but I really do appreciate your flexibility with that last night. We would have recorded it last night, but tonight, I feel like, this was awesome. Thank you so much. It's so awesome to have you as a friend and
awesome, Brian. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Humbling. Very humbling. I appreciate you, John. Appreciate you, Brian. You guys have a great night.
Thanks,
you too, Sean. Take care, bud.
Talk soon. All right. Bye now.
All right, folks. Well, that's it for this episode. Make sure you check us out on Instagram at Working Class Fishing. If you got any suggestions for us, you can email it over to workingclassfish@gmail.com. And make sure, if you're watching this on YouTube at our Working Class Fishing page, that you hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure you're subscribed to us so that you get all of our most recent video updates. We're always looking for new guests on here. We're looking for new content ideas. We're looking for suggestions, everything else. We even get spelling corrections or pronunciation corrections in our little notes there. So we appreciate all of those comments that you guys put in there. That took you effort to put in just as much as us. So we really appreciate it. Thanks again, everybody. Hope everybody has a wonderful week. Get out there and go get some fish.
See ya.